Hi, I'm Chris Rose. I'm the Executive Director of Renewable Energy Alaska Project, or REAP, and I'm here to give a little bit of an update on what's been going on with the 34th legislative session, which began just a few weeks ago. I've spent a week down in June already talking to legislators, and we are excited that we have a bipartisan coalition in both the House and the Senate leading those respective bodies. We feel like there's an opportunity for us to continue to work on policy successfully this year. Last year there were a couple of bills that we worked on successfully. One was to establish a green bank in the state of Alaska, something we'd worked on for about 4 years, and also worked on a successful bill to reform the transmission system in the Railbelt. The primary goal this year is to get a Renewable Portfolio Standard reintroduced and hopefully passed before the end of the legislative session in mid-May. It's going to be one of our priorities because we right now are highly dependent upon natural gas. The utilities are in negotiations right now on how they're going to get gas, because we know that we're going to start running short of gas in the Cook Inlet region just in a couple of years. So what we really want to make sure happens is that there is some frame to the way that those negotiations move forward. And if we have a standard that requires the utilities to move toward renewables, we're way more likely to not have those utilities who need gas to be locked into long-term, high-volume contracts for LNG. We know that LNG is going to be more expensive than the already expensive gas we get from Cook Inlet. We also know that LNG is going to be tied to a world market, and LNG is volatile. We've seen LNG prices spike as much as up to $65 after the Ukraine war. We certainly don't want to see those kinds of prices in our consumers' future. So we're working now to educate policymakers about why we need a standard to move toward what is in most jurisdictions the most economic form of energy, which is wind and solar power. REAP is excited to make progress this year because we do have bipartisan coalitions in both the House and the Senate. We have a good working relationship with the governor's office. The governor introduced the RPS bill 3 years ago, and then we had bipartisan and bicameral support for that bill for the last years. It did not go very far. We feel like this time we do have an option to get this bill moving because the gas crisis is looming. The Renewable Portfolio Standard bill legislation that we've worked on for the last 3 years is likely to get reintroduced. We want a standard that's going to require the utilities to move vigorously over the next 10 years toward a higher percentage of renewable portfolio, whether that's wind, solar, geothermal, hydro. We see there's an opportunity for the utilities to be working together on those issues, and the standard is what 29 other states around the country have used to catalyze that kind of movement toward a renewable portfolio. We also feel like the argument for a standard is an economic argument. Last year, the National Renewable Energy Laboratory put out a study that demonstrates that the most cost-effective future for the Railbelt would be to move towards 76% renewable electricity. That's much higher than the roughly 20% renewables that we've got in the Railbelt right now. And the reason is because the higher prices we are likely to be paying for natural gas starting in just a couple of years are going to quickly start increasing our electric bills in the region. And in fact, what the NREL study found is that over the course of the next 15 years or so, that Railbelt consumers could save well over $1 billion by going toward renewables and not importing expensive and also volatilely priced liquefied natural gas, probably from Canada. So we do feel like there's a great economic argument. In the midst of this gas crisis, there is a solution, and that is a policy lever that the legislators can pull, which is to push the utilities toward a requirement that they have a higher percentage of renewables in their portfolio. This is the first of several updates that you'll hear from REAP staff over the course of the legislative session. In the meantime, what you can do to keep abreast of what we're doing and what's going on down in Juneau is click on the linked policy page in this video. That's also available on our website, where we'll be compiling all kinds of information that you can use to understand the issues better and to tell your legislators what you think about the policies and the bills that are before them. We're also going to be working with our 60-plus organizational members from around the state and other allies to educate them about what bills and legislation are in front of the legislature down in Juneau. And we'll be sending you updates through email. When you get our emails, please subscribe so you can continue to get those periodic alerts. Your support and involvement will help us as we move toward getting legislation passed in the legislature again this year. We do this work because we see a bright economic future for Alaska if we rely much more on our local, inexhaustible, clean, renewable energy supplies that we have all over the state. So please keep your eye out for messages from us. Click on the linked policy page and learn more, and continue to keep in touch with your elected officials. Thank you.